YouTube studio family, how you doing? Um, since you've seen the title of this video, I know you know what I'm going to be reviewing today for you guys. First of all, let me say that I hope everybody is doing safe, wearing their masks, and if you don't have to be in the street, then of course, don't do so. Because we gotta stay healthy, so that we can continue doing what we do as far as our studios and making good music, right? Um, the Manley elop plus, right? I have a couple thoughts and viewpoints on the Manley elop, which I put inside the rack, which I'm gonna turn it and show it to you. As unorthodox as it is, me having to do that. But really quickly, as far as the Manley products, I've listened to them, over the years, like many years that Manley's been making, compressors and so forth, and I've always wanted Manley products, but it was always, overpriced. Not overpriced, but they was always priced outside of my, ability to obtain one. So over the years, like I always say, hard work pay off. I was able to acquire, one of the Manley products, and hopefully I'll be able to, through the years, acquire, you know, other things, that are on par with, Manley, So, um, what I found different from the Manley compressor, more particularly the elop plus, is that one, it's not complicated to use. Um, Two, you really can't mess it up, like with its compression ratios. Like it has a 3-to-1 compression, which it has the amount of reduction at the 3-to-1 point, and then it has a limiting function, which is 10-to-1, which then you really start to hear it starting to squash, the transients. But throughout the whole process, it still sounds musical, unless, of course, when you're limiting, if you turn it all the way to the max, you really hear it start to compress, the music. I'm just going to turn the camera, and you have to excuse me. I'm going to turn the camera so you can view it, I guess, while I talk. But let's try it this way. It's a little unorthodox, but you know how I am. I don't have a whole lot of camera stuff, so I'm just going to turn it toward the rack here and talk. So here's the Manley already racked up, the elop. So what I will say is, on its face, it's beautiful. Like, you might not be able to tell from the camera that I'm using, but the finish is beautiful. Machine, that blue hue that Manley is known for, right? So it is, of course, it has a very thick faceplate, right? And the LEDs, the analog displays are beautiful. I'm going to try to zoom in here so you can see actually what I mean. That beautiful analog color. I love that. It has the high pass for the low end, which I think is 80. Let me go on this side here, where it has the 80 and below. 80 and below will not be bothered by this compressor, meaning it will ignore anything 80 hertz and below and not worry about dealing with compressing it, which usually interferes with, your mid to high compression or processing. So it doesn't worry about 80 and below, right? Which is good. I've used it both with the 80 bypass and also with, and I noticed that the vocals and the horns and other instruments are processed better when you use the 80 bypass, because you won't have the needle jumping, compressing those lows. It'll bypass it, right? So we have the high pass, we have the in and out, which brings the signal. When the light is lit, it will engage the actual compressor or limiter. Then the next one, you have the compressor limit. When the light is on, it's engaging the compressor. When the light is off, it's in limit mode, which goes to 10-to-1 or 3-to-1, right? The next one, you have link stereo. When the light is on, right? Let me go in here. When the light is on, it's in link mode. And what it's doing at this point, it's linking both sides, the right and left side of the compressor. But even though it's linking both sides, you can't just use one side or the other, right? And add the reduction or the gain, and it's doing it to both. The way that this compressor is set up, they still want you to use both as you're turning it, but it gives a different stereo field. When I have it linked, it has a gluing together, if you will. It kind of like glues both sides together, which works. In some respects, unlinking it, right? Unlinking it, which makes the light turn off. I notice a certain spatialness that happens with the elop when you unlink it. So you can, like I said, you can link it where the light comes on, or you can unlink it, right? That's how simple this compressor is. This compressor is transformer input, both sides, transformer input, which gives you that warmth immediately, which I hear. Even when you have this compressor in bypass mode where the light is off, right? When the light is off, it's in bypass mode. You still have the benefit of the input transformer. So even if you just simply run your outputs into this compressor, you're still going to get the sound of the input transformer in tubes, meaning it's going to run through the system even if you don't engage the compressor limiter, which I find to be, pretty cool, right? So then you have the gain, which one thing about the Manley elop, I noticed the gain is here for the left channel, but the gain is on the outside for the right channel, right? So when you want to use it, usually your gain is here for the left channel and your gain is here for the right channel, and your reduction is here and your reduction is here, but it's not. The gain is on the outside and the reductions are on the inside, right? It takes a little bit of getting used to, because I'm always messing that up. I've had this for about a week now, and I've run all type of music through it. What I found is this compressor is great as a 2-bus. With your final mix running through this compressor, I find that it doesn't overly compress. You don't get any pumping, you don't get any of that stuff, and I love it for the fact that it doesn't do that. Yeah, so I'm gonna sit the camera down, and finish the conversation about it. So give me a second, fam. Give me a second. So All right, that's cool. So, like I said, the elop compressor is really good on a two bus or your stereo outs, right? On your stereo outs, and also I think it works. And I really wanted you guys, for any of you guys that are interested in the elop compressor, what I did is I A/B'd it, in and out of compression. And what I notice is it has a spot which, when you're dealing with reduction, 3 o'clock, right? 3 o'clock is like 75% engaged with compression, right? Of course, all the way like 5 o'clock is its max compression at 3 to 1. So at 3 o'clock with the compressor engaged seems to me to be the perfect place. Like you can set it and forget it. Like you can run anything through it at that compression ratio of 3 o'clock with the gain reduction, right? And I notice what I notice it does, and I've played multiple different genres of music. I notice when you don't have it engaged, you listen to whatever instruments or music you're playing through it. You might have a sound stage that's here wide. It might be wide and sounding good. When you engage the elop plus compressor, it of course brings the mids forward, and yes, it does has the instrument's quiet parts. As an example, the guitar. When someone plucks the guitar, you hear the reverberation of the guitar. But more importantly, it gives a three-dimensional sound to the vocal. When the vocal ends a word or says a word, you can hear the room of that vocalist. You can hear what place or where that vocalist is in the room. You can hear the size, for a better word. You can hear the size of that room, and things start to place better in that room with the elop plus. I don't know if it has more to do with the tubes, because tubes have always been pretty good with reproducing space in a room, if you will. So that's my thought of the elop plus. And to be perfectly honest with you, when I first unboxed it and set it up, and ran a bunch of things through it, either through with the addition of this board, which just sounds amazing, with the iron and so forth that is in this TOF board, and then running in through the elop compressor, and then into the Orion, and then into the Grace design. It's a revealing present. I can't really speak more about the presence of the elop, how it brings out. It's almost like there's a veil over the sound, and the elop just brings it out. Don't get me wrong, like other compressors like the DBX 160XT, or you think about the Distressor. Yes, they will make things sound forward, and they will make things sound punchy. I think the place for the elop is in a whole different space. The elop tends to add, and this is going to probably be cliches, it makes sterile things sound analog. It makes things that would otherwise seem okay. If you take EDM or techno music and you run it through the elop compressor, it will apply a certain level of realism to it. Much like we think about when people are playing CDs and versus 8-track or records. It does impart that analog warmth, that analog distortion, because basically that's really what compressors do. They add a certain amount of harmonics, even or odd harmonics, to your music, which your ears perceive as realism. I can't. It's a tool. So if you already have like a solid state compressor, a distressor, which is like a solid state compressor, DBX 160XT, or anything else, a good coloring device that you might want to add, if you can afford an LA2A. The LA2A, this is like an LA2A, where it just imparts that sound to instruments and brings it out and forward in such a way that if you have really revealing speakers like a Focal or other things that are very revealing speakers, you will instantly hear that real record sound that you normally hear when you listen to something that's been mastered pretty good. So like I said, it's a tool, and to be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't wait to unbox it. So as I said in the intro, I was reviewing the elop Plus, and I had a surprise or a bonus. I love the elop Plus so much that not only did I want it as an addition to the 2-bus, because the needles move just a hair, and if the needles need to move just a hair, it's doing enough for your overall track glueness, much like you would say a G compressor, right? A solid state compressor. It imparts just enough to start to interleave your music, right? But I also wanted more than 2 channels of it. I wanted to be able to apply it to the vocals. And using limiting with a vocalist, you can bring those spikes in better than the compression, because the compression on the elop is softer. Yes, it's softer, but I think with a vocalist that might not be as trained to be as even with their singing, that limiter, which is the 10-to-1, will grab it faster. You know what I mean? Like having like an 1176 attack on it. Not as fast as 1176, but enough that someone who has some balance with their singing, it will catch those spikes in their voice. So what I wanted to do, because I didn't get to do an unboxing of the elop, so I wanted to let you know that I love the elop Plus so much, and I'm surprised by how good this thing sounds with its transformers and its vacuum tubes, that I bought another one. I have 2 now, so I get to unbox it and to let you see what it comes in, what's inside of it, so you can have the opportunity to be like, oh, when I get one, this is what I'm going to have. So I'm going to get up and I'm going to unbox the second one, because I didn't want to put it in without let you all see an unboxing. So here we go. So when I stand up, it's probably going to be out of view, but you'll be able to see the product. So here is the other elop Plus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly open this up, so it won't be a really long video, but I'm going to open it real quick and show you how it comes. And I probably wouldn't make a video like when I started acquiring the DBX products. you know, a lot of you all know about the DBX XTs or the older 266s or whatever. If I didn't really like, not like, if I didn't really find the product useful to you all, then I wouldn't do a video. I wouldn't do an unboxing or something like that about it if I didn't really think that that product would benefit your arsenal, right? So here's the outer box, and I'll hold up the inner box so that you can see what it looks like when it comes. So that's what it looks like when it comes to you, right? Then you have the bottom, right? Sides, right? Manley, right? Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit it up here on the console, and I'm going to open it up. And there she is, number 2 in all her glory. The elop Plus, right? So I'm going to have to do something slick to actually get it out the box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach in and lift her up, because she has these 2 cushions on the side, right? So I'm going to lift her out, right? And I'm going to sit on the side for a second. I'm going to grab her back. So what I'm going to do here is show you what comes in the box. So inside the box, of course, you get the power cord, right? You get the power cord. You get the manual, which is really cool. You need to look at that manual because there's a number of tricks that Manley gives you when you're dealing with using the compressor. And it's some tips that I didn't think of that they give you, because of course they make them. So yeah, that's the manual. You get the warranty card, which when you register it, you get 5 years. That's when you know you have a quality product, when they give you 5-year repair on your products. And you get stickers and your registration form for your Manley product. So 5 years you get for when you register your Manley compressor. So I'm gonna set this to the side, and we're going to look at the compressor, which you've seen already in the rack. So it comes with these black cushions on the side, right? Now I would not have bought 2 of these if I didn't really love the sound of this compressor. They had the Manley New Mu, which is a solid state, which is supposed to be good for bass or faster transients, and it's supposed to give you a better transient response with low frequencies. I think the elop Plus is really good with instruments, guitar, and certain mid basses. So like I said, here's the second one, right? Here's the second one, right? And it comes with like little rubbery black feet, which I'll take off because I don't really need them, right? That's the front. And I'll hold it here for a second so you can see. I'm trying to make it so you can see real good. Okay, that's the front of it, and I'll turn it to show the back, the side. That's the side. It's not very deep. Maybe one hand. I have big hands, but it's not very deep. And there's the back, right? And on the inside, what you're supposed to do is make sure that the tubes don't like come out while it's been delivered. So as you see in this picture, you can see the 300 volt caps they have inside them on either side. They have a 300 volt line, and inside you may be able to see the capacitors. I mean, not the capacitors, but the they have 4 tubes, two input tubes and 2 output tubes inside this puppy. So there you go. So I'll set it up in there and let you see what 2 of them look like side by side. This is the first time I'm actually doing it, so I don't even know if it's going to go in here with the feet on it. Yeah, it's not going to go in with the feet on it, but when I do another video of how does it sound, maybe I can pass one through another, and maybe even get me to make some new sounds. But there's the elop plus. So studio fam, there you have it, and I'm happy to have been able to acquire these 2 new pieces of gear. I have other gear that I don't store here in this house, but there are pieces that the reason I get like pieces like this, or 2 of, and sometimes 3 of. At one point I don't know if I told you in other videos, I had a studio building, where I actually paid for actual building, where I had all this gear and so forth in, and would have people come to record, their music, or drummers or singers or whatever the case may be. So at some point when I'm done with, my day-to-day job, I will be able to do this more professionally and do what I love, because like I said, at some point we all want to do what we love, and for me, my love is music, right? Creation, producing, more so on the mix editing side. Like I would like to get more toward the mixing and editing side of recording, right? And I can't really emphasize that for those of us who are out of work, or those of us who are underemployed, we all hope and we all work towards getting back to it, so that we can continue to contribute to our families and to our craft, So if what I'm doing, and I haven't been able to do a lot of videos because I've been having a lot going on, if you want more content, if you want more detailed content, if you want to know how this stuff interlaces together and how I interlace it together, or how I wire it, or whatever, or what wires I use, hit me in the comments and let me know, and I'll do my best to at least do this twice a week. And also, I need to get another camera, but priorities. So I hope you like this video, and if you do, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you see fit. And this is my studio, and I'm B-Man, and till next time, let's keep recording. All right, later.